Rod.
Hot Rod.
All
Sorry
right.
about that.
You're
You
good.
ain't gotta be sorry. You ain't gotta be sorry.
Yeah, without you, we wouldn't have had any coverage of the Bombers game. But now, because of you, do you guys see the group message? I sent you guys a group message on Instagram with
Yeah, I seen it.
but the old two.
Didn't you tell Rodney to wear his Herkimer jersey? What the hell?
I did not tell him where.
No one told me nothing. I just went, and I was the only one that showed up.
He was the only one that made it. So it was supposed to be all of us going out there to hang out, right? And then, Paul's obviously his mother-in-law, he couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Charity got COVID. And then I've been sick the last 2 days, been on the couch. So I'm glad I didn't go out and make everybody sick because, oh my goodness, that would not have been fun. So thankfully, old Hot Rod made it out there and saved the day with some footage and got the coverage of the game for us.
He did. Hot Rod.
It was
Happy
worth
New
it.
Year.
Happy New Year to all of you.
Thank you. Yeah, what did you think of the game that none of us got to see?
I will say the game was very controlled. It wasn't a fast-paced game at all. Not like the Syracuse and a Thorpe game. That game was fast. This game was very 5-on-5 oriented. Not a lot of fast breaks. But it was a good game.
Yeah,
I got Nate Johnson was posting some stuff on the line, so I caught I believe it was the third quarter. Ty Hill scored. I've seen a couple. It looked pretty good. Pretty good crowd there too.
Oh, there's probably about 1,200, 1,500 people there.
No kidding. Good for them.
Yeah, that was packed.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the somewhere when we're talking. I'll put the little replays in. The one who was. Do you know who the Binghamton guy was that scored there? That
The game winner?
no, I know the game winner. We'll get to that one in a couple of minutes. At least I think I know who the game winner is.
So the game winner was Cody.
Oh, I thought you said it was Ty. Cody
No,
Kilcoyne?
Cody Kilcoyne got the game winner, actually.
That's awesome. I got it.
Ty got the goal before that, and then Leland Paulus had a goal. He had a nice shot from the outside. There was no, stud. Not one guy took over. That game was just waiting for one guy to take over, either team. If we had a Binghamton had a guy or Elmira had a guy to take over, that team probably would have won. It was a very conservative game, I will say.
Was it back and forth the whole time? The score was kind of like tic-tac-toe, or was it a game of runs where?
Yeah, no one went up by 2. It was up by 2, then they'd tie it, then go up by 1 and tie up by. So it was it wasn't a fast-paced game. It was a very controlled 5-on-5, go out there and score a goal type of game.
The exact opposite of what we saw with the first game.
Exact opposite.
Officiating. How was officiating?
Well, Bill
I saw that they was calling it tight. Definitely in the the ticky tacky stuff. I was like, wow, they're definitely keeping control of the tempo.
They definitely took control of the. It could have got out of control at a few points, and they did good on that part. But there were some. I would not have called some of those calls at the end. So it was like a back check call that it wasn't a back check. They just fell onto each other, and they. Refereeing wise, it was pretty good. I would say. Out of 10 stars, it was a solid 7 stars. Refereeing.
Yeah. I was watching the game Friday night that they were streaming. I thought that seeing some NABLL officials in there, it was good to see. Knowing that we're getting quality officials at our level as well, so that's good to see. But they definitely called it tight. I was like, wow, they're calling that. That's interesting. But again, holding control of these guys, making sure that it's not getting out of control because it can quickly.
It's easier to set the tone of the league that we're going to call it tight and then loosen up as opposed to letting everything go the first couple weeks and then trying to crack back down after you've already called a couple.
Absolutely.
But here's the question I'm sure somebody's dying for, and I actually hope he's got an answer. How many Herculums did we have out there or how many Herculums are you aware of in the league, I guess?
Well, we got Marty up there at Jim Thorpe, and we've got Murph over at he's in New England, I believe, right?
He's a Chowderhead.
I think.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think We're stopping at 2 right now.
Well,
You
you've
know?
got Kogan, right? He's
Oh yeah, Ronnie Kogan is a coach.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
coach.
yeah.
2 and a coach. That's pretty good. You know, and there could be more. You never know. I mean, there's
seems
some
like- it seems like there
Herculum
should be
who
more.
have tried out and are available, and you know, there's one guy that keeps on retiring, so if, you know, that could happen.
Yeah, I've heard a couple people talk about that. We'll see if we get it into it one of these weeks. But and then there was the goal. Do you see that diving goal? The guy catches it, dives, and quick sticks it into the net. Or you guys didn't watch it, but he sent a video of it, and I cut it up and like slowed it down a little bit. You got to look. It's sweet because
Is it a Baker goal?
somebody flashes a camera right as like he's diving across, and when you look at it in slow mo, it's pretty cool.
Who's that for, Greg? The Chowderheads?
No. That was for the I think it was the Renegades, right? 53.
That might have been 53. Who was 53?
Was it? I'll look at the video real quick.
It might have been McCoy Abrams. He's 43.
I think that's what it was.
It was McCoy Abrams.
Wow, what a goal. I hope we got that, and I'm so glad we got that because oh my goodness, you guys, I'll put it over the top of this. It'll like sit in the middle of us when I actually upload the video because we're doing it differently than the live shows. Yeah, Rodney, I don't know if you know. So we can cut out things here and there as you want to go, but we're going to totally I'm going to put that right in the middle. That goal is amazing. Somebody throws it from the corner across and he just catches it in the air and throws it in, and wow. Wasn't it that
That's
one?
awesome.
It had to be McCoy because McCoy I think he had a good game. I think he had 3 goals. Him and Owen Hill, they let it up for the Renegades.
Nice.
Well, I should say Owen Hill had all his goals from penalty shots.
Also similar to like Skyler.
Yeah,
Thomas,
just like Skyler.
Yeah, except Sky had that sweet dunk too, which
Oh, that was sick.
yeah. I haven't been on social media yet, so I don't know if other people are posting it, but I just can't believe that whoever videoed that game has not cut that up, and like there's not a short somewhere out there that's going around. Well, I guess that's all I'll say on that matter, but it's it was, I tell you, there was a lot of goals like that though. So to hear that the other game, which was a little bit slower, more 5-on-5 with the tempo, and you see that with the other goal you sent, the guy shoots from the outside. I just love that clip because you see him over there banging his Bombers jersey, like he was pumped. I don't know who that one was, but
That was Leland.
that was Leland.
Yeah, that was Leland Paulus.
So that was sweet, and props to him for shouting out the fans. You could see everybody was going nuts, and he was walking around in the crowd. Yeah, that was pretty cool to see.
Well, that's what these players got to. They got to start celebrating. Like when he did that to the crowd reacted to him like, yeah, because it was kind of like they scored their first couple goals, and it was just, and no one was like, come on, get into it. So I mean, they need to get a little enthusiastic when they score a goal, and maybe even over the top, and just get that crowd, because that, I mean, they had a attendance there, so no reason that place should have been rocking, and it was quiet sometimes.
Yeah,
They need a guy in a Yeti suit.
They need a bomber. They need a bomber is what they need.
Or the Yeti suit. Just get it down there.
Just show up with the Yeti suit.
Yeah.
It's good publicity. Can I get thrown out for that?
I don't know, but you had the bag square.
Well, if I can't get thrown out for it, consider it done. Oh,
I mean, I don't see why not.
Oh, I'll get my eye out.
I go to the Firewolves game in full face paint, right? I mean, think how many guys go to the pro games, and that's kind of what it takes too. Is you seen like when we went to that last Firewolves game. Once you get somebody like me who's hooting and hollering and acting, like a fool, then everybody else kind of gets into it. And that's like Leland, like you said, that's just somebody knowing what to do to make sure you get the crowd into it. Hopefully some of these guys that this is their first time playing pro kind of follow that lead and start engaging people a little more.
Coach Decker has a rather famous NLL incident involving Chopper, the wings.
Chopper, I heckled the snot out of Chopper. They didn't want it was the Bandits. It was the Bandits wings game down in Philadelphia. They didn't like me at all. I got home. I didn't realize we got back and we took the train in and everything. We came out. We got back to the hotel room, and I take my jacket off, and I had a hoodie on. And all of a sudden, all these French fries are falling out of my jacket. And all the people that were behind were tossing French fries.
It's unbelievable.
I had them,
Oh, I
though.
love that.
They,
I love
they
that.
couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle it. I wish Reggie Thorpe was there because I would have been louder. That's awesome. That was good times. Oh, that was a good time.
And I mean, this is for some of these towns, like Binghamton's never had a pro lacrosse team before, right? They're not like Syracuse where people have seen this sport a lot. Binghamton, they've got a lot of field lacrosse, but they are not a huge box lacrosse community, right? I mean, at least a history of it, as far as I know. So
Just
that,
the local.
yeah, so that's what I mean. So for them, the kind of getting in, getting to see it, and pretty, decently high scoring game. It was, at least double digits. You don't want to see a bunch of these games go 6-3 because even though it might be great lacrosse, that's not what people want to see.
But people pay to see those goals.
They want to see it. Yeah. That or the big hit. There was definitely some solid hits that I watched on Friday night. I didn't get to see much on the Saturday game, but Friday night's game was pretty. Casey Swamp got some good recognition. They were definitely saying his name quite a bit. That was pretty cool. And Dwighty Burrow was out there rocking it, and I was like, that's cool stuff for me, no question.
What did you think, Rodney? How was that Binghamton game? Was that pretty physical?
Yeah, they got physical when they had to. Like I said, it was a lot of controlled 5-on-5. Either team, I don't think either team they don't have a Casey Swamp or Dwight either, though. So I mean,
Right.
those two are set aside on their own pedestal. They're out there to hit people. Binghamton, I would say their biggest guy, probably most physical, would be Ryan Hoteling.
Ryan
He was
or
out there.
Devontae Adams. What's Devontae Adams' name?
Geddes.
Oh, Geddes.
I
No,
refuse
not
to call him
Dennis.
that.
Devontae.
No, number 17 for the Eels.
17 for the
Paul
Eels.
Carlson.
17 for the Eels.
Oh my goodness. You are something else.
Well, you know that you couldn't say his name because you didn't know if he was supposed to play in another league and it was going to get him in trouble. That's why, like Israeli, I knew who it was, but I called him Troy Polamalu.
AKA, also known as.
Also known as.
Yeah.
Yeah, Devontae Adams. That was a different one. I had to come up with that one on the fly.
That was good.
Quality. It was quality.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean that's the thing though is like I haven't gotten to see Elmira's team. I know Justin McKinney's pretty physical player, but then
Justin was he did his transition job very well. He was all about that. So I mean, he wasn't really out there like trying to lay bodies out. He just played solid one-on-one defense, got the ball, and ran it up the floor.
a lot of getting
Maloney
up the field.
kid's fun to watch. The son of a Herkimer guy.
Yeah, Maloney had what,
Yeah.
2 goals?
Maloney had 2 goals.
Yeah, so
I think Cody had 1.
Ty Hill had 2.
Ty had 2 for Binghamton. Yeah,
Was
like
Kobe in the pipes?
no, for Binghamton was Jake Lazor played the whole game.
Oh yeah, Jake Ozor. Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
and he did stellar. He made a lot
He
of
is
good saves.
good keeper.
I got to highlight.
Yes.
We did get one highlight reel save. That was Jake, right? That saved towards
Yeah,
the end of
with-
the game.
The kick save.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that should have went in, but he made a hell of a save on that one.
Yeah.
I would have scored, but I mean that other I don't know.
Yeah. That was impressive. You see him slide across and get that somehow. But wow.
And
How was
then,
it with the Rod with the jerseys? I was watching what Nate Jobson was putting on, and it was difficult from a distance to see which color was. I was like, "Who's who?" That was tough.
So after the game, I was talking with Ryan Lewis I was like, "You guys only got one set of jerseys," and he's like, "Yep, they didn't give us home or away jerseys, so that's what they got to play with through the year." So if you're dark, it was kind of hard to. The only thing that separated was that little bit of blue or gray and red on top of Renegades. Other than that, they look exactly alike.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit. I was like, "Damn, that's difficult to see."
Oh yeah, it was very difficult. And even on the
Actually, matter of fact, I made a comment to Nate. I asked him because I couldn't tell. It was a goalie made a save, And I was like, is that Kobe in, I didn't know who was in goal because you couldn't rightly tell who it was, but it was a good camera work that he sent in. I appreciate what
Yeah, he did
sent.
pretty good.
Pretty cool.
So Elmira's goalie is Davy Jones. He's from Onondaga.
Yep.
And him and Kobe almost look the same standing there. So, I mean, you easily could have been mistaken for Kobe.
Right. That's what I was like,
yeah.
I thought it was Kobe. So probably was that gentleman from Elmira.
Yeah, Davy Jones, because that Jake Lazar is not built like Kobe, but he what impressed me most watching him was how good of a passer he is. Did he get a chance to show that off or not really, because you said it was more of a slow controlled?
I did.
I think there was maybe three times he let a little bomb go, but I'll give Elmira, they got back before anybody could take off for a fast break. So it was all just little outlet passes, or someone would get out of the crease and run it up. So there was really never an outlet guy for either team. They was just, like I said, get the ball and run it up and settle it right away. As soon as they got past half court, they'd stop and wait till everybody got, whoever changed to 2 or 3 or all 5 went, then they just settled down and tried to work it around. Like I said, it was a really slow game, kind of.
So that's what you were talking about, Justin being able to run up the floor and then set the offense up. Sorry, Bob.
Yeah.
That's okay. Jake Lazar is a midi in field, right? Didn't he play at Hobart? I think he's a football player too, like really fast kid too. Is he not?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
He's fast. I've seen him in practice.
Oh, you're thinking Mike Lazar.
Oh, is that Mike?
Yeah, it was Mike. Mike went to Hobart. That's right.
Right.
No, but Jake Lazar, the goalie, he plays on Team USA's box team.
Right.
As the third string goalie, but would play out. So that whole time in Langley, he played out. Yeah.
He's got a good stick, and a lot of goalies do if you get him out of the goal.
Yeah.
A Queener and Reardon, Reardon doesn't.
Yeah.
Reardon doesn't play goalie in box. He plays offense, and so does Queener.
Yep.
And Queener, Queener's tied in with Brian Hobart, so another connection.
There we go. Yeah.
Herkimer connection, that would be.
Did Queener play a Herkimer? I'm sorry.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, Queener was a Herkimer kid.
Jeez, that's coming from me.
I left that out there because I was pretty sure you were going to say something.
And I believe
let's go coast to coast.
Yeah, the
coast to coast.
Chowderheads won, I believe, their game, which
right,
bunch of Northmen on the Chowderhead team. They had a pretty heavily stacked NABLL roster, like all these teams. I mean, I was really surprised that it is. It's about a third of the players have played in the NABLL.
Horns up to Baker, a Tri-City 40-year. Got the game winner in overtime. 2 goals, 2 assists. I guess he lit it up pretty good.
Really? That's
yeah.
So how he was the Tri-City guy. He's just played with you guys through.
He played with us up in Lake Placid. 1 year, I believe we, I think, took 3rd place at that tournament. It was a first, 3rd, first. I don't know how that was. First, 2nd place. I don't know, but it was one of the good teams up in Placid that we've put together over the years.
That's nice. It would be nice if somehow we could check the stats and look through them, but I don't think they I mean, they could use that, what is it, points bench everybody uses? Or you could just have somebody with an Excel spreadsheet kind of plug the numbers in. That would probably work too. But that would be cool, because if it wasn't for you telling me that Baker scored the game winner, I never would have,
In overtime. Yeah, he had the game winner in overtime. I see. I tried, I'm not very big on the technology, but I did get on Twitter, and I figured out exactly, a couple guys that I'm used to that I follow. They posted a little bit of information, so he was out there.
Yeah, I was on my couch all the last couple of days. It's been fun in the Beecher house, I tell you that. So did Crosby play for or no?
I don't believe he was a healthy scratch. He was a healthy scratch. Blaine was a healthy scratch. Chris Ryan was a healthy scratch. Ryan Davis was a healthy scratch.
How was Conzo out there?
He did good. He did very good. He was cross-checking. He snapped his shaft. He didn't get beat. He was playing very he was very intensive out there, and it showed. He did very, very well. Very, very well.
That's awesome. Well, he's got a lot of box experience too. So when I first talked to him, I was not completely surprised when he told me he played up for a little bit in Canada with his dad. Used to drive him all over the place so he could get a little box time in. So yeah, I don't know. You said he actually got a lot of time up the field, right?
Yeah, he had tons of time on the field. Um, he was on man down. So I mean, there were a lot of I can't remember how many penalties they had, but I mean, he was out there a lot. He got a lot of floor time. So that's a good. It's all going to make him better throughout the year. And like I said, this is their first game. A lot of jitters, but he played very controlled, and you can tell he was comfortable out there.
Yeah, he's a pretty relaxed individual. I don't think you could put that kid in any situation, and he's him. That's
Wind him
awesome.
up and let him go. He's one of those
He
all over the place.
he was one of my
Yep.
favorite podcast guests ever. It took me forever to cut out so much of it. Oh my goodness! But did me and
Very
Charity
funny.
have fun
Very
watching
funny.
that? Yeah, if anybody's watching Yeti Talks that hasn't seen the Brian Conzola podcast, do yourself a favor and go check out that one. Because wow, that was that kid is a pisser. So and then it looks like the Mayhem beat the Hammerheads. Oh, 18-12. So that was a 6-goal game. That was a lot different score than the rest of the games, which were you know 1-goal game, and then you had the 3-goal with the Jim Thorpe game. But 6 goals is double that. So I wonder, anybody hear anything?
Those are the from the Hammerheads. Those are the guys that you talked to this past week. Is that who played there?
The guys I talked to this past week.
Yeah, you did a post with those guys down south. Are those the or that was the Charlotte team, wasn't it?
Yes.
That
So
you just told the next score.
Yeah.
The last score there.
Joe French was yeah, he's down in the Charlotte, which actually started with a bye week, but the Hammerhead was Todd Lloyd. He played for the he was Mayhem, and so I did not get a chance to touch base with him or see how he did. But yeah,
okay.
Him from the Golden Bears, he's down there,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
I was gonna say, let me pull up their
So who did the Mayhem play this weekend? Right? Who did they play? The Hammerheads.
yeah.
Okay, so I seen a little bit of that one, and they had a great crowd too.
They had a really good crowd too.
They had a very good crowd. So the Binghamton, the Hammerheads game, and the ILA game, they were packed, like more than everybody thought they were going to get.
ILA is
So that's a good thing.
Iroquois Lacrosse.
Yeah.
It's where the inaugural one was, the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena.
Yeah.
Everybody I talked to said that was awesome. They playing in there, that was they said that was a great time because you have some guys who have never been up there before, and yeah, what a game! It didn't disappoint. But looking through,
Rodney, are they cranking the music? Are they got just background music, or they got it cranked up like the NLL games?
It's cranked up like the NL games.
Is it?
Yeah. Which I didn't really notice at one point. Finally, it was probably like the third. I was like, "Hey, the music's playing." I was like, "Oh," because I was just too busy watching the game. I said it was a good time.
Well, that and the crowd.
Yeah.
Just from what I was watching through Nate, the Bombers game had a pretty good crowd cheering and everything like that. That was cool. A lot of Yeti people I seen in the crowd.
Yeah, anybody who watches box lacrosse, and these stadiums are just going to keep filling up with people. I just, like I said, I really hope they had a plan and they've got it captured, and they're just too busy to post some of the highlights, because the couple you got on your phone would be circulating all over Instagram. I mean, that would have been a 5,000 hit easily. Each one of those dunks would have been 5 to 10,000 views on any social media site or on the shorts with the YouTubes, and yeah, they're just.
Yeah, I was sitting there trying to get more video, but then I had Dan Rogers next to me, and then Tim Zinfandel, and I had Dave Pavlik was right there, and then Jesse, and another hurt guy, Dave Pavlik. I ain't seen him in 20 years. And I'm sitting there trying to get video, and everybody's just talking away at me, like, "Hey, look at it." I'm like, "Hold on, let me try to get some." I was like, "I'm kind of trying to work here, guys," because I was actually sitting by myself to begin with, and they all see me. Next thing you know, everybody was just sitting around me, and next thing there was people standing next to us, and I was like, it turned into a party up on the top there. I was like, "Hold on, guys, I gotta get some video."
That's why you're called Hot Rod, right? Hot Rod.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Yeah,
All right, buddy.
we're gonna have to come up with a new name for the NLL show that we do. I was trying to think of some funny names with Blue Squatch and Hot Rod that we could match up. So if you guys think of anything good, let us know. Yeah, actually, I filmed the other guy that our new affiliate there today, he called me. Owen Falk was the guy's name. He sits right behind Calgary, and wow, yeah, he's one of those fans like me. He's yelling. It's should be good to talk to him a little bit, and we all do our thing. So it's
So the January 13th. January 13th is that in Syracuse or is that in Binghamton? The Spark and the Bombers play. Isn't
pulling
that
up the schedule
January
right now.
13th?
January
I
6th,
just
we
don't know
got
where.
there 13th. So the Renegades and Spark are playing January 7th in Elmira. Binghamton's got a Sparks Bombers on the 13th. So that's
Where's
back
that? That's in Binghamton?
Binghamton, according to the schedule. So
Okay.
that'll be probably, well, like I said, it depends because anytime the Firewolves are playing, I'm not going to a PBLA game, but the Elmira and Spark, that one's on January 7th, and so is the Bootleggers and the All Americans and the Hammerheads and the Terror. So 3 games next weekend, right? Isn't that this coming up weekend?
Is the Spark Elmira game in Elmira?
It's in Elmira. And then
Yeah.
the Bootleggers are playing the All Americans, so they travel around. That's going to be in Charlotte. I tell you, that Charlotte team is in for a treat. Talking to a couple of guys there with and then but playing that Jim Thorpe team too, that's going to be an incredible game of lacrosse because you got both French brothers who play all summer for the MSL, so that's it's going to be pretty good. And it's interesting to see some of these teams how they are, because those are only the 2 that I know about. How many other guys play summer ball with them? Are they playing up there? Some of these teams have an advantage with more guys playing together. Like Syracuse, I think has quite a few guys who have played together throughout the year, so that's kind of a big advantage you'd expect them to have over some of these teams. But I don't know how many other teams are like that. Like New England has a bunch of guys from Maine, at least 2 or 3. That could be a huge advantage, especially when you've got a defenseman like Dan O'Gorman throwing the ball up to Baker. I mean, that could be something set up. And I think Dubé's up there. We've seen Dubé play. He's a really good offensive player. So those 2 play together a lot. That's the kind of chemistry that takes years to build, not something that all these teams are going to have.
No, like the Jim Thorpe, they're all 6'8" guys, so they all know each other, played with each other forever. So I mean, their Syracuse team's young, very young, but they all played together. Elmira, none of those guys played. Probably Lucas and Justin are probably the only 2 that kind of played together. The rest of them were just shot together. Binghamton, at least some of them play together and know each other. So I mean, like I said, for about Charlotte and Trenton and all that, who knows?
Yeah, we'll get to see when they start playing the the heck was I gonna say? That All Americans team though, I think is they're gonna be pretty tough to beat. Going forward with that, it'll be I don't know. I'll be interested to see because we haven't gotten to see them all play yet. But I think that from the early running and you look at how well that went, but that Mayhem team, I mean, beating the Hammerheads 18-12. Could have been a hot goalie, could have been or not a hot goalie, sorry. But it could have been a goalie struggled a little bit here and there, or it could have been that team is just that good. Good luck whoever you're putting in front of the net.
Well, the other thing early in this league is you got the new substitution rules and everything, so that's certainly a factor. Adjusting to that.
It played the Binghamton Elmira game. Neil and I were going like this. No, you gotta go that way, and they got caught a few times subbing at the wrong door, and the guy was running up, and he couldn't get that angle to beat him. So the guys come out the offensive door trying to catch up, and it was, way too late. You're already 15 yards by the time you get a guy out there. So, like I said, like Six Nations kind of found like a loophole with it. They're doing really good. Like they're almost subbing all 5 because at the beginning they said you're only supposed to sub 2 or 3. You're allowed. Now I guess it's unlimited subs. They changed that rule sometime during the week. So Six Nations was changing 3 or 4 at a time and leaving one D guy out there, and it was working perfect for them.
And that's what you wonder going forward, though, is because a lot of guys said that with the 2-person sub rule, and you actually heard it from some other executives beforehand. But my question about that always was: how do you enforce that? It's what, 2 subs every shot clock, 2 subs every 10 seconds, every 5 seconds. So I'm guessing that's something that they tried to figure out during practice. But I think, like you said, with them playing 5 guys and that whole Jim Thorpe being a unit versus Syracuse was trying to do like an offensive defensive, substitution, whereas like Jim Thorpe running that 5-man set where you kind of run it like a hockey style where you've got a couple guys that are going to stay higher up, maybe some big shots that can play really good defense. It'd be interesting to see what the rest of the league's got to look like. I tell you, I think Elmira's going to have their work cut out for them because every one of their games is going to be filmed too, and that's not going to happen to everybody else, and they're going to have more video out than anybody.
It was like for Binghamton, Jordan Durston. He was 13 seconds on the shot clock. He was running back to the bench area to get a D guy on because he's 100% an offensive player. I mean, he can go out there and stand there and be a defenseman, but he's not a defenseman. So that was their game plan: get him off the floor.
Yeah,
15 seconds onto the shot clock.
Right, he's the first guy coming out, and then he's got to be the first guy coming back off, just because they're.
Yeah.
Rodney, did Jeff Geddes play?
Yeah, Geddes played. He ran more defense transition.
They kept them on D.
The kick and score too.
Yeah, that's what I was just curious.
Nope, he had him on more D transition, and he was kind of. After I talked to almost all those guys after the game. I was just picking at their brains, like, "What do you think?" They're like, "They love it. They like it. They said it's not bad." Sure. Geddes wanted to be more offensive minded, but it showed. Like he's an alpha dog out there. He could have easily took over that game, and he didn't. But then after I talked to him, I understand now. I know why he, just like, I'm just out here to play, I guess. And
I think there's going to be a lot of guys like that figuring their roles on the team and coaches.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's really, I don't know. I think the coaching strategies, like just the way they shift and adjust mid-game and the way these offense and defense. So, Bob, you're a college coach. I know it's not box lacrosse at all, but what do you think? 5-person line change, or do you run offense, defense still with this new transition rule?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to mess around with it a little bit. I think what I would try to do, definitely though, is figure out a way to use that rule to my advantage. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of times if you're off ball on defense, getting out of dodge is a good idea. And I think there's probably some ways to incorporate that into what you're doing and take advantage of the situation, get some quick breaks, a couple quick hitters, and then, settle it down when you have to settle it down. I think really what's kind of hard at that level is the balance of going too fast and slowing it down and appreciating your possession. And sometimes for certain teams it takes, particularly when you got a bunch of guys who haven't played together a lot, that's going to take 3-4 games, for like an Elmira. And Brian Hobart's coached pro box and field. So, I mean, he knows what he's doing. And there's some Penn Yan guys out there playing for him, and the Voights are Penn Yan guys and whatnot. And, but I think, it's melding the whole thing together.
Yeah, I definitely think that's going to be the biggest challenge. I think Randy Chrysler, the way he's got that set up, he seemed to, at least from, what I saw, he seemed to have the best setup for that, game. Just the way he ran it, having the 2 guys always back there, because they didn't leave. There wasn't a ton of odd man breaks going back the other way.
Well, that's Jim Thorpe, right? Yeah. Randy Chrysler was Jim Thorpe, right? Well, and that's probably a team that's between them and Syracuse, one of those 2 teams, maybe the Chowderheads have the most built-in chemistry already. A lot of those guys are 6A guys, and they know how to play with each other. And I think that, the subbing would be a quicker adjustment for those guys. And Randy can get his message out, Rod, you're with me on that?
Oh, it's like Randy. He coached CLAX before too, where they had the same rules. So he's seen this before. So he probably had a good game plan coming into it, and he probably sat down and did his homework on it and said, "Hey, we do this, we do that." Where everybody else is like, oh, we're just going to do this and figure it out. As it kind of looked like that. They figured out on the fly where Jim Thorpe, Randy had him on point.
Right.
How much pressure were they putting on after shot for Binghamton? Because it's an 8 second clear, isn't it? 8 second.
None. Zero
Oh, it's
pressure.
9. Okay.
No,
None.
he said none. Yeah,
None.
it's still an
None.
8 second clear. I don't think they changed.
still
But it
8
is an
second,
8 second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's where I'd sit there, and if you got the runners and you're playing fast tempo, that's where that 8 second is huge.
Yeah,
You
because
get
I think
that-
at
those
one
are extra
point-
shots.
one point Binghamton did put pressure on and they got the ball back. And then, which was good because then all of Binghamton changed and the Renegades defense all got stuck out there except for, and then they scored. But then they were gassed. They tried to do it again and they were just gassed by the time they got back out on defense. The Binghamton guys, so they kind of like just get back or get off.
Right.
Because you gotta have a thoroughbred out there to do that. 5 of them to put pressure on and go back and play 30 seconds, if not 2 minutes. And we keep getting resets.
And
It's a
that's
smaller bench too. They only dress 18.
18.
18, yeah.
Yeah, it's 18 and 2.
You got to know when to do it and when not to do it. But that's 8 seconds. That's when you throw like you said, get the thoroughbreds out there, and once you line them up, put the pressure on. Pressure it up.
I think that's going to be a lot of this for so many of these teams, though, is you got to find out who you can, because not everybody's built for that. Because like Rodney said, if you do a quick change, it'd work if you had somebody like Durston that you pull off fast, and then you've got somebody else going on that's more of a defensive style, like transition guy. But if he can get out there and put that on, and then he's not a detriment to your defense for the next 30 seconds, that's a huge advantage that some of these teams are going to have to kind of figure out.
Yeah, for like Binghamton, like hoteling, I didn't see him go up on the offensive end that much. Maybe 3 times that whole game. He played defense, run it up, and he got off.
It's in Casey on the Friday night game, and Dwighty, they got up on they were pushing tempo. That was cool to see.
That one time Casey got lost up there though. He lost the ball. He didn't know what he was doing. He was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And got checked, and he just threw it. I was like, "Oh, there's Casey." He don't have silky mitts.
That's good stuff, though. You got to do it.
We'll say with Bill O'Brien, he got up in the offensive end.
Yeah.
Got laid out. Boom, they went right after him, laid him out, got the ball back, and he didn't know what to do. He just had to run back on D until as much as he works out, you can tell he was gas again.
Yeah.
So that it makes good comedy, I would say, to watch those D guys go up there and try to play offense. That's the best thing about it. But by the end of the year, those guys will know what to do. They'll figure this all out. Like I said, it's everybody's first game, work out all the kinks. But I really enjoyed Casey getting up there and getting really lost. I was like, there he is.
Oh, that's amazing. And so Craig Seneca, where did I know that name from? He's the goalie for that team. Did he play at Laxney?
Yes, he played for the Marksmen. He's from the Karagas Res. He's our Allegheny Arrows Senior B goalie.
Gotcha.
He's good.
Yeah.
He played for the Riptide. He was on the Riptide for a year. He went to GCC and then just kept playing box. He played up in St. Catharines pretty much his whole junior career. He's a solid goalie. He's a smart goalie. He knows his angles very well.
Yeah, pretty efficient. Now, what do you guys think the biggest thing that these coaches are going to be adjusting? Obviously, the change on the fly, but is it more time to start tinkering with moving guys around in positions, or do you think just keep fine tuning the what they're trying? Because you also got to take in, this was a lot of these guys' first chance as pros. Yes, they've been playing box lacrosse, some of these guys, for years, but you also have a lot of guys who have not been playing box lacrosse for years and years and years. And your first chance as a professional athlete. So, you kind of got to give guys a week to settle out is what I would think. But I see you shaking your head immediately, Rodney. You were like, no, we're moving guys all over the place.
Well, if you look at Jim Thorpe team, they ran 3 lines of 5. Those 3 lines, those 5 guys stayed on the same line the whole game. And it showed that, they were clicking. And when one of the offense guys got tired, they would substitute those other 2 D guys for him. Where the other Binghamton and Elmira, it was just first 5 out, stay out there, come back, and that's hard to do, especially if you're doing offense, defense, and off. You need to establish 5 line or your 3 lines of 5 and get them going and going. Then you fill in the puzzle pieces with who works better with who, and it showed there were guys out there that wouldn't go set picks for a guy, and the guy was waiting for it, and the guy didn't know what he was doing. So, but then he would get 2 guys out there who were just boom, 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 and they're setting picks and rolling. And like I said, they'll figure it out.
So even though you're saying move guys, but you're saying more not move guys around as far as just kind of how they're organizing their lines coming on and off. And I would really wish we could have seen for how those other ones. I'll have to get a hold of one of those guys because I tell you the coaching strategies for this I think is going to be the most interesting thing because I think this early into the league you can really take advantage of this. Like you said, if Jim Thorpe's, they've been playing together for that long, he's got experience with CLAX before. If it was the same rule set, that's a huge advantage. Whereas some of these guys, it's brand new for them. Everything from being a pro all the way up to coaching, a lot of stuff. I'll have to cut that out because I sounded like an idiot there.
Well, you take what you were saying coming off of that, and with the tinkering, now you get a Geddes. Now you already know. There's no question. Neil knows that the players these guys are. Yeah, you're going to start seeing where you want to. Maybe I do throw him on the offensive part with Ty Hill, and now you're getting your pressure. You got to see what you got. You see the dogs that you have and where they bark best, and you start putting them in the proper order. Absolutely. It's going to be interesting. As I just wish we could see more games. Again, that's what is hampering everything is we want to watch our guys play and we can't even rightly get a chance. So that's what sucks. But once again, it's a building league. They know what they got to do. So I'm sure they're going to fix what they got to fix at some point in time. But at least seeing stats would be cool too. I mean, whether it's the ground balls, whether it's penalty minutes, there was definitely some in that first game. They threw down, and what were the? How about in the first game? I thought that was great as hell to see the splitting up the getting a power play and also getting
penalty shots.
Penalty shot. That was cool to see. I mean,
that was my favorite.
There's definitely
part.
great stuff in there.
As far as being a new league, that was my favorite of all the rule changes. I think that's awesome. That's so cool.
All right, hold on 1 second, guys.
Yeah. What do you think of the rule changes, Bob?
I loved them.
Oh, I think the rule changes are good. I mean, interesting at the very least. I think the penalty shot and the splitting that penalty that way is kind of interesting. There's a little bit of strategy there. You can go either way, and it's cool. It's definitely cool. I think it changes the dynamics of the game a little bit from the 1 box, 2 box, the way a lot of the subbing is at the higher levels, So it's definitely interesting to watch how it plays out.
People see box lacrosse, you're gonna watch it. It's exciting. There's nothing like it, to watch it live. I don't think.
Well, the Binghamton News was there.
Yeah,
and they showed. I seen some of it, and they asked 2 people. Oh, what'd you think of it? And the guy was like, I never seen box lacrosse. I heard of it. And he goes, oh, I love it.
Yeah, and that's the
there
thing.
You go right there. You need to start getting it out there. I mean, you can't just let it sit stagnant in that arena.
As long as the news companies will show up and they rely on that, they should be good. But like I said, I just don't know with what they got to be paying. And what I didn't consider was the workers' comp insurance. The retainer on that that's got to be $250,000 in itself.
If not more.
Question.
Yeah. That's got to be. So, I mean, that's what I mean. Think how much money these guys have dumped into this league. Like, yeah, we're probably coming out west. We got to start a whole division. It'll be 4 teams right there.
As far as NABLL expanding, as far as the markets are definitely there. Albany is looking to get into the upstate. As far as Thousand Islands put their new team in, Croy has definitely got the Eels back in.
Like if they were,
as far as basically what it comes down to is, you can talk and we can have 5 more teams say that they want to be in. It's a matter of paying your money, shut up, put your money down, and once you put your money in, then now you get to play for a national championship. From what it's looking like, the upstate would like to expand and get these people in the proper regions. They're definitely a upstate region, my personal opinion, and they're great talent that they have. It's going to make a small league go bigger and add a lot of talent. I'm excited. Look at it. It's expanded just from one team down to how many are on Binghamton. Binghamton's got X amount of players, a coach, a GM, 5 players. Syracuse has 2 players. Terror has 1. It's something that's growing that, we're going in the Nexus Center this year. And I know if we do the right things and we get the right people involved, 1,200 people inside the Nexus Center. Can you imagine? 250 and we had it rocking. And that was in the odd. There's going to be a difference, but the difference in size is going to be incredible for the ideas that we have. There's 2 balconies. I can't wait till people see the Bag Square balcony. It's going to be rocking up on top. And the lights, the jumbotrons, they're all going to be there. But when you bring it and condense it into a smaller venue, 200 people, 250 people, almost 400 people the year before, that was a lot of lacrosse fans, but they were spaced so far out. Now we're going to bring them in and they're going to be rocking. I can't wait. I'm excited. It's going to be awesome. And once again, there's local kids that play on the Albany team. Now, we get an opportunity. Bag Square, the brewery's going to get an opportunity. The out-of-towners, we're looking at Battle on the Barge being the 3rd week. Going to get that clarified this week. But bringing 10 teams in. And if we can get 10 teams in here, that's because we have 5 teams in the upstate region. That's 5 teams from out of the region. That means they got to spend the night in the. It's going to grow. It's blown up. Look what it did at Laxney, and that's just at the start of this whole thing. It's the sport is growing just because of Hot Rod was involved with us last year. It got down here and was able to play with us at Laxney. Guys want to travel. They want to play. And, now you start throwing in real nice venues. You're going to tell me Binghamton isn't going to look at possibly picking up a minor team, a minor league team, a NABLL team. I got to believe there's going to be Southern growth. There's no question that area is going to be one. Are the Marksmen, that's a great team. The Marksmen, when are they going to say, you want to know what, it's time to get in the NABLL? A lot of those guys were, they went to the national championship a couple of years back and they won it. And I can't wait.
Oh, you're talking they were in the IBLA. You're talking.
They were in the IBLA, but as far as
those guys are Can-Am guys, though.
They all can't be. That's my point, though. It's going to grow as long as the NABLL does their right things and produces a good product, which they definitely have. In my opinion, we can all definitely make it better. With our venues, with what we bring to the venue.
Right.
The Syracuse venue, that was a great venue this year. As far as I love going up north to the Riverhawks, it was a little warm, but you want to know what? You get into an old barn, that's cool stuff, I think. That's where the nostalgia part of it game comes back, where we played in Rome. Rome ain't the Nexus Center or ain't the odd, but you want to know what? It was a condensed look what the atmosphere was in Rome compared to at the odd. It's almost about the same amount of people, but it was just more fan. It was loud. It was
that's
rocking.
where you guys are going to do good in the Nexus Center, like you're saying, having that more consolidated. Because even just you in the Nexus Center can really make a difference. Like, as loud as you are, like, you can make a huge difference in the Nexus Center. Whereas in the odd, if you stand there and scream, you're only really affecting like the section around.
I echo.
Yeah,
I echo. There's not human flesh.
That's
enough human flesh.
That's true. You do. You do echo. I shouldn't have used you as the example. You are a.
I could hear him. He doesn't. He's good at being loud.
He's your PA announcer without the microphone.
Exactly. Shout out to Mike Felvo, because my man, he does it right. I love listening to that kid do it, and I'm glad he got up here. Fingers crossed he'll be back again this year to do some more. That's what I'm excited about.
So for the Battle of the Barge, so we'll talk about. Babbo, you're up.
Okay. I think the PBLA, it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. I think there's a lot of upside potential, and I think they got some kinks to work out, but I think the product's pretty good. And I think there's a lot of regional people who have a lot to do with the success, so it's exciting.
Yeah, I think that regional thing is a huge part of it, like you said, and I think that's like you said, the Jim Thorpe team regionally, a lot of those players are similar. You got the Elmira team's got a couple guys, Binghamton's got a bunch of guys, Syracuse has got a bunch of guys that play together. That is a really interesting part, and I think these small town markets should really do, kind of wonders for that. Speaking of small town markets and putting on big experiences, you got some big news. We're looking at the Battle on the Barge. Did we narrow down the week yet?
We're going to be narrowing it down. Definitely have 100% confirmation this week, but it's looking like the third week of June, 16th, 17th, 18th at the Nexus Center, downtown Utica. Beautiful place. 10 teams. We're shooting
brand new
for
Nexus Center.
Brand new, brand state of the art. Everything. It's if you get an opportunity to come down and watch hockey, that's cool. If you get an opportunity to come down, watch some lacrosse on Tuesday nights, Sunday nights. We got pickup. We got our youth program. 40 years of Tri-City Lacrosse is there. As far as Battle on the Barge, 5 teams we're hoping to have in the upstate region of the NABLL, and with them, we want 5 teams from out of region. This way, everybody gets to play some out of region activity in the state of the art. A bag square bonanza, Battle on the Barge. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. We're hoping to get some youth product in there. I know Justin Otto down in the Jersey along. I don't know exactly where they are regionally
West
wise,
Rock.
But West Rock down in that area.
Team, they're like
as far as
Newburgh.
he has a team that he's been working with. We're going to try and get some youth up here to get some games as well. So we're talking growth. The growth is there. I'm excited.
And if anybody wants information on Battle of the Barge, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Best way, Instagram. If you're not on the Instagram, Utica Yeti, Facebook, Utica Yeti, Paul Noecker. I'm at Utica Yeti at gmail.com. We have a uticayeti.com. Best way is, or my phone number. I'm going to throw it out there, 315-225-9301. Text me, send me a call, do something, messenger. I'm out there. Utica Yeti are out there. We do exist. We're pumping up for 2023. We went to national championship. We got a taste of it, and we know what the competition is, and it's only going to get better. So if you want to play Yeti, get a hold of me.
Perfect. Tuesday night pickups. What time do you guys do that at the Nexus Center?
We get that going at 8:00. You got to have U.S. Lacrosse insurance. That's a one kicker right now, but it's usually $10. It's based on numbers, but the numbers have been great. Goalies have been consistent. We've had legends coming down and playing. Doc is actually confirmed that he's going to be playing this weekend. Chris is also going to be playing this weekend. Our local guys have been out of town, so some out of towners coming down and playing with us has been awesome. Not just out of towners, but legends of the game as well. So pretty pumped about that.
Awesome. So hopefully more guys will get down there, even though you guys have had big numbers. But Hot Rod, on to you. What was your kind of your wrap up of getting to watch some of the lacrosse TV when it wasn't kind of dropping coverage there, and how and getting to see it live though, where you really got to see it, and being one of those fortunate human beings that got to see this amazing lacrosse, and thankfully caught a couple of highlights that guys might not have had.
Like I said, the PBLA, they're going in the right direction, and like Leary said, the kinks are there. They'll work them out. It's just good to see that lacrosse is growing again, and it's bigger. Now you got another professional lacrosse team, and you got professional in their name. With that being said, all these teams do have one superstar, a name that everybody can put it. Like you had Ty Thompson playing out there, and you got Bill O'Brien and so forth, Brian Hoteling. So I mean, it's just their first week. I think it's going to take off, but they just got to fix everything right now. But it was a nice atmosphere to be at Binghamton. There was a lot of fans. I can't wait for the next game to go to. It'll probably be Elmira, because it's only a couple hours away from me. So yes. I think it'll pan out pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the product. I think they put a great product out there. I love the penalty shots. Yeah, I can't wait. Thanks everybody for joining us this week on Yeti Talks, and we'll see you guys next week.
Next
Go
week,
Bills.
New Year. Go
Go
Bills.
Bills. Happy New Year's to everybody. Thank you.
Black and yellow.
Black and yellow.
Oh.